We're back here on our program, Jones and Company, and this afternoon we have three torchbearers here from the Free National Movement. Godfrey?
Ladies and gentlemen, I am interested in getting an idea of what kind of Bahamas that you see. I'm on the way out. The future, you are the future. What kind of Bahamas do you see?
Well, me, just looking at, you know, I see a good Bahamas. I see we are moving in the right direction because the focus is on the young people. A lot of the focus, especially with this party, the focus is on the young people, all right? Because of all of the opportunities that are out there. You know, we spoke about the 3 E's at our convention. This is actually what we're speaking about, the 3 E's, you know, education, you know, providing, you know, better education for primary school students, you know, college students, high school students, you know, employability, you know, getting persons employed, providing more opportunities, you know, for younger people, all right? And also entrepreneurship, you know, giving persons an opportunity to start their own business, you know. So to me, the future is bright, you know, for the Bahamas.
Wait, Mr. Ferguson.
Yes, sir.
All governments in the Bahamas since 1967 to now, everyone
Yes, sir.
spent the lion's share of the budget on education.
Okay.
It has always been about education. This is nothing new. Every single government, without fail, for the last 50 years, spent the vast majority of the national budget on education.
But Mr. Jones,
So what is the difference?
I didn't know if you had an opportunity to turn into our convention last night. But the Honorable Jeff Lloyd, who's the minister in education, during his speech, he laid out the track record where the FNM government, between this government and the last PLP administration, and he laid it out year by year, where this government has spent more money on education than the last administration did within that 5 years period.
Yeah,
So as you can see now, the FNM government, we put in our money where our mouth is. One. If you notice, we can go down to the south. He made reference to it last night. We could go down to the south in Maikal, where a lot of the students down there, because I'm in education as well, I'm a recent graduate of the University of the Bahamas with a bachelor's degree in education, so I can speak to this, where a lot of our students down there are at a disadvantage. They cannot take the appropriate, or they cannot take the amount of BGCSEs like the ones in New Providence can because of the lack of teachers. Like you have physics, biology, chemistry, combined science, auto mechanics, cosmetology. All of those are BGCSEs that persons in New Providence can take, but not the persons down there at Maikal. So what we are starting now in the FNM government, this fall, he made it this fall, that those persons in Maikal now will have the opportunities to take those BGCSEs, because now we're going to implement more technology in the classroom.
Virtual class.
Where we're going to have virtual classrooms now, where teachers in New Providence will be able now to talk to the students now in Crooked Island, in Inagua, in Mayaguana, in Auckland, where those students now will be able to enhance their learning. Well, they'll be able now to be given the same opportunities that the students in New Providence have. And if that isn't a part of the development of the Bahamas and the development of the youth, then I don't want any part of it.
Wait, let me make this point. Mr. Jones and I know Mr. Lloyd very well, all right? And in our opinion, Mr. Lloyd is one of the best ministers, all right? But Mr. Lloyd is not always right. I tell you why.
No one is always right.
Wait, hear me out. You do not educate people out of their environment, all right? Have you ever been to Auckland to Crooked Island? You ever been to the Southeastern Bahamas? You know, nobody there, you know, all right? You don't want to give them an education that is going to facilitate them leaving and coming to Nassau. All right? You have to teach people to understand and be productive in their environments.
I'm sorry, Mr. Indian. I have a problem with that because I'm in education. We don't teach persons in their environment. You don't teach the crab to stay in the crab pen. This is an international world. We are moving in the 21st century world.
Have you heard? Wait, hear me out.
Hold on.
Wait, no, let me point. Have you heard the marine science?
When you were
Wait, hear me.
Mr. Indian,
Have you heard?
Mr. Indian, let me have a chance.
No.
Let me just get a chance.
You say you don't educate people out of the environment.
I
Do you know about?
when you were growing up?
Hold on, man.
Hold on, man.
Do you know about marine science?
A little of it.
All right.
I can't speak full of it, but
He and I were in Acklands. All right. And a young man walked by with a bag of fish. Bag of fish. Mr. Jones asked him, say, how much do you want for that bag of fish? The fellow said, I want so and so, but you got to clean it. All right? But you have to clean it. The southeastern Bahamas abounds with fish. All right? That's one of our natural resources. It is a natural resource that is not being exploited. All right? The Bahamas isn't New Providence.
No.
Right?
It's a part.
And so one of the reasons why we have some unemployment in youth, among our youth, is because we are not utilizing our natural resources.
So you're telling me now that
All right?
a degree in chemistry can help our natural resources? A degree in physics can help our natural resources?
I think you should.
No, but what I'm saying now.
Yes,
sir.
there's no doubt what Mr. Lloyd proposed is, hold on please, is a good idea for the virtual learning or educational experience that he proposed. There's no doubt about that, okay? We went to the Colonel Hill High School. It's a huge high school with all of the facilities that you would see at a high school in New Providence. There were 15 students and 16 teachers. 15 students and 16 teachers. But the Colonel Hill School has been putting out better results than high schools in New Providence. The NGM Major High School in Long Island put out better results than in New Providence. Okay? And so, while distant learning and all of that is good, all right, I don't see why that is such a big deal. I really don't see it.
Wow.
And the reason why I don't see why it's a big deal, because the students there have been performing better than the students in New Providence. That's the point.
Because
But
the
one of the-
Providence
That's the point I
is
made.
saturated.
One of the-
Okay?
The problem.
That's the point.
Okay, Mr. Jones, I can speak to that because we can talk about saturation. It is research proven that students learn better when the ratio to students to teachers is smaller.
And perhaps what the government ought to be considering is to get some students to go to Colonel Hill for education, to go to NGM Major for education, where these schools are open and where there are large classrooms. I sat in a computer room that is air conditioned in Colonel Hill, Crooked Island, that was only occupied by 2 people. So it seems to me that if you are thinking about utilizing our schools in the country
resources.
and our resources and putting people in environments where they can learn, we need to find a way to get people down in South Andros where there are only 10 people in the classroom. Yes?
And no people.
We need to better people the
our
Bahamas.
country, yes.
The Bahamas is, we keep saying it on these programs,
Underpopulated.
underpopulated.
It is.
There are only 200
Andros-
people in
Andros-
Nergoni, you know.
Andros is-
There are only about 300 people in Acklands, you know. There are only about 250, 275 people in Crooked Island, you know. The government of the Bahamas cannot be short-sighted and allow those islands to be depopulated even more than they have.
But I
How
think
is it being depopulated if I'm educating the students?
Because
I don't
people
understand
are
it.
leaving
Leaving.
those islands.
But the Prime Minister has been putting, and if you've heard him, and he'll speak tonight at our convention, he has been putting a focus on Family Island development. He has acknowledged that everything cannot be Nassau-centric.
Yes.
He has acknowledged it. That's the first step, that everything can't be Nassau-centric. But a part of sending students back to those islands is making sure that not just they have a classroom, but there are enough convenience stores, that boats are running there to get them what they need, that people have businesses, that there are the resources that people are going to be accustomed to.
Now you're talking, Gabrielle.
This is what I'm saying.
What are we going to do to make that happen?
So this is
What is the government doing to repopulate
To create opportunities.
those islands and to create opportunities
for
in
people
those
to
islands?
stay.
What is being done? Don't tell me that you have distance education, because that is not repopulating the islands. We have to put opportunities in
Correct.
those
I'll
islands
speak
so
to
that
this
people
one.
can go there and
The-
thrive,
the
so that my brother here
SPDC,
can go back to South
you let me-
Andrews. Right? You won't go back to South Andrews, body. Right?
The SPDC has been expanding its horizon to the Family Islands.
What is the SCDC?
The SPDC is the Small Business
I see.
Development
Okay, okay.
Center. We have to realize now, Mr. Amius and both Mr. Jones, that while persons may have become accustomed to just getting educated and getting a job, there are a lot of persons in our generation that want to be empowered and own their own businesses. And there is place and space for that on the Family Islands.
But what are you
So they are
doing?
now, are you listening?
What are you doing
Are you
to
listening?
put those
They
people
have-
back on those islands?
They have expanded now this program that helps them develop these business plans to start businesses where their islands have lack. So let's just say if your island lacks a store, somebody was telling me the other day, I was speaking to Miss Emmanuel the other day, and she has one of the most difficult constituencies. The reason why I say that is because she has a cluster of islands. And she was saying the other day that there was no rice in Salina Point. So now
what?
she was rice. And she was encouraging our people, you have to start becoming entrepreneurs.
Well, they can grow rice there or what?
No, not growing rice, but opening a rice. The people have a high demand for rice. Family Island people like to cook. And you know they like to eat their own, so they plenty
Why
rice.
don't you just
There's a high demand for
leave
rice.
these mundane things alone, and let's really talk about ideas to develop.
We
this
are
country.
talking about ideas.
Don't tell
If
me
you
about no
start
people
a
in
business-
Salina Point want rice, man.
Okay, and if
Let's
somebody
talk
opens,
about,
and if
you're
somebody
a young,
opens,
intelligent person, okay?
And I'm
hold
talking
on.
young
Hold
and
on.
intelligently.
You are a young, intelligent person. Don't give me no nonsense about people in Salina need rice. We want to talk about how young people will develop this country. All right? We are talking about ideas. And we have to put this tribalism aside, you know. This whole thing about UPLP and FNM and UDNA, we need to talk about nation
Jones,
building.
Mr.
Okay?
Jones,
Okay?
if you bring it
We need,
down a notch.
hold on. We need to talk. No, let me conduct the show. You just answer the question. Okay? We need to talk about how we are going to build this nation and how young people are going to come together to build this country. And these little mundane and silly ideas, we have to just put them aside. Okay?
making people entrepreneurs is a silly idea. People starting a business where there is a lack. No, Mr. Amos,
You
is
need
that a silly
people
idea?
to start
There is a lack.
business.
There are people
There's
there.
no,
We
you
started
cannot
this
have, you
conversation
cannot
with
have
saying,
a business in Crooked Island that would do well because
No
you
people-
don't have no people
people-
there. Do you understand that?
But
have you ever been to
have
South?
you-
Have you ever been down there?
I've been there one time.
You've been
was a
to
few years
you've been to
ago.
Salina Point.
No, I've been on the other side.
You've been
I'm
on,
not
on
to
the other
Salina
side.
Point.
What is the
Lovely
other side
Bay?
of Salina Point is where?
Lovely Bay?
Wait,
I've been to Crooked Island, not Salina Point.
People don't make
One
no
time.
money in those islands.
There, Mr.
There's no business. There's no economy there.
And this is what I'm saying that they are working towards. If there are
When was this
tourists
day?
and boats, the government is working towards this. If now they can get cruise ship passengers now to start, the cruise, actually, there's a ship that does go there now, and they have a little festival there. And when
Cruise
they,
ship goes where?
some boat to Salina Point, I believe. Mr.
A
Manuel
cruise ship
was
goes to
telling me.
Salina Point?
Somewhere there.
You sure, man? You'll
I'm
tell
not,
you that?
I'm not
Mr. Jones,
I'm not 100%.
Mr. Jones, you talk
But
about
these
nation
are the
building.
stuff that are going to impact nation building.
Listen,
Your generation may have been okay for your generation, but we want to be empowered to be owners.
Okay, I am from Acklands. We went to the
Salina
end
Point,
of Salina
Salina
Point.
Point, yeah.
Okay, there is no place in Salina Point for a cruise ship. Okay.
I'm not sure it was a cruise ship.
Tell
I'm
Mrs.
not
Manuel
sure.
I say
No. Don't quote me. I didn't say that. I'm not sure if it was that, but we were talking about a mixture of things.
There's a
she was saying
potential for a
things-
cruise ship.
Potential, yes. That's what you may have said.
There's a potential
Potential.
there. And
Yes,
the
but
potential.
when the cruise ship passengers come, if the people don't have stores and things set up, what are they going to do? That is empowering your people, making them
Miss,
business owners, Mr. Jones.
Miss, you putting the cart before the horse. That's what you're doing. That's what Miss Manuel thinking about too. Putting the cart before the horse. You wanted to say something.
Yes, I did. You talk about nation building and you talk about how we can get persons to go back home and develop the family islands.
Yes.
So I want to talk about what this government has done to make education more affordable for tertiary education. As you know, at UB, they have a program for small island development where persons can now go there and they can now learn about how to sustain small islands. As you know, Bahama can't be sustained on a small island like Auckland. The infrastructure isn't there, the persons aren't there. So what is good for New Providence isn't good for the family islands per se. So we might not be able to have a Bahama, but we can have a boutique. We can have smaller developments there where tourists now can be able to go down there and not only learn about the history of that island, but learn about the culture as well and the people. Now, I say that to say when persons now able to now go to UB and they are able to take the courses in small island development, it's more affordable now. More persons can now go there. More persons can now go to BTVI to take vocational courses. Why? Because this government has made BTVI free. This government has now taken away the tuition fees for the University of the Bahamas, where now more persons can now go there and take up these courses. The skills, the availability is here, but the opportunities aren't. So we realize that the opportunities aren't. So this government is now working now to enhance the opportunities for where persons not only in New Providence, but persons on the Family Islands now can come and take these courses.
John Montpetit,
Yes, sir.
you ever heard about Anchor Projects?
Anchor projects?
Yes.
No, sorry.
You never heard about Anchor Projects?
No.
You ever heard about Anchor Projects?
No, sir.
But let's go.
I wouldn't touch on
Wait,
it.
not too far from Salina Point, there's a place called Masons Bay, all right? And one of the best boutique hotels in the Bahamas is located in Masons Bay. I stayed there,
I believe
right?
people like
So the point I'm making is that boutique hotels are not new, all right? That's not new. That's been part of the Bahamian family island landscape for the last 30 years.
My guests here have never heard about Anchor Projects. But between 2002 and 2007, the Christie administration sought to put in place anchor projects in the family islands so that people are able to stay in those islands and develop those family islands. There was a group called the I Group that was supposed to develop marijuana. The PLP lost the 2007 general elections. And you know what happened to the proposal for the I Group to develop marijuana? The FNM government changed it. They reviewed and canceled certain things with regard to the project. There's nothing happening in marijuana now. The people associated with the I Group, they left. But the I Group project was supposed to be an anchor project for marijuana. And what is needed in these family islands today still are anchor projects in South Andros, in Cat Island, in Mayaguana, in Acklands, in Crooked Island, straight down the chain. Because what we have been doing over the many years, we've been developing the Northwest Bahamas and neglecting the Southeastern Islands. And so when we talk about ideas for development, we need to find ideas so that the same way people are returning to Exuma
Abaco.
and Abaco, Exuma in particular, Exumians are going back home. We need the people from Cat Island to be able to return to Cat Island, and the people from Long Island, and Acklands and Crooked Island, and places such. Because there was a time when Long Key had a few thousand people living on Long Key. Today,
9 people.
there are but 9 people living on Long Key because it has been depopulated. And we have a national security problem in the Bahamas because all of these islands in the southeastern part of the Bahamas are depopulated. People don't, there are churches that people don't attend because there's nobody to go to church. I've been to a church in the Letterbill Bay, Acklands,
A woman and a dog.
where the pastor and her dog
Dog.
are the only live beings in the church. There are churches that have closed. Our problem, I'm putting it to you, that young people need to learn the Bahamas. They don't know the Bahamas because they're so Nassau-centric. And he from South Andros would know of the great fishing opportunities in South Andros.
Bone fishing and all of that.
But guess what? Andros is bigger than Trinidad. And you
Bigger
got
than Jamaica.
8,000 people on the whole of Andros.
Mr. Ferguson, do you know that Mangrove Key, you from South Andros,
Yes, sir.
was the second largest population center of the Bahamas outside of New Providence?
That was like
Oh, you didn't know that, right? And look at Mangrove Key now. How many people in Mangrove Key?
not a lot.
All right then.
Less than 2,500.
You know what I'm concerned
Why?
about? You know what I'm
They
concerned
don't know the
about?
country.
You know what I'm
Andros,
concerned about?
Andros.
Mr.
They don't know the
You
country.
know what I'm concerned about, Mr. Enius?
Yeah.
Because Ms. McKinsey get vexed with me.
I ain't get vexed with you.
Ms. McKinsey.
I ain't get vexed with you.
You know what I'm concerned about?
I concerned about some things
that
too.
when I went to North Andros, and I wanted to go to South Andros, they told me in order to go to South Andros, I got to fly back to Nassau.
Yeah.
Now, when we have, whether it's FNM government, PLP, or whatever, when we have a government that addresses those type problems, then we talking.
Progress.
Then we talking progress. Okay? When you addressing a problem like that I, as a Bahamian, I am on Andros,
You can't get to the south.
and I can't get to the south. I got to fly back to Nassau to catch a plane to go back to South Andros. You think you could fix that for me, Ms.
We
McKenzie?
also have,
You think, you
this
think,
is
you
why
think,
we
you think,
elect
you think, the,
representatives.
you think the torchbearers can agitate to fix that?
This is why we elect representatives. It starts at the level, constituency levels, associations, youth levels, different branches coming together to sit down with persons that are more knowledgeable, persons that are innovative. It's experience, wisdom, and innovation coming together as one instead of fighting each other on who's right or who's wrong.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right. But let's work on the big ideas for the development of the Bahamas. And let's put the petty little politics aside. You know, who did this?
Yes,
Who
and-
did that? Who did it? I'm not concerned about that, man.
We're not concerned about
My
that.
grandchild, who is a smart girl, she's only 9 or 10, okay? She wants to, in the next 10 years, I want her to be in this seat where you are, talking about big ideas for the Bahamas.
And that's why she has to be empowered to get her big ideas off the ground.
Come on.
Because if it's staying here,
Yes.
ain't nothing happening. She has to get the education she needs.
Yes.
She has to get the opportunity that she needs.
Yes.
Because maybe she wants to own that own business. She don't want to go work. She may not want to come work for you.
Yes, but in
she
order-
may want to be the boss.
You know,
so you have to let her
calm
get that
down, calm down.
opportunity. Because you was rowing me on that.
Calm down,
You was
sister.
rowing me on that.
Boy, you
was rowing me on that, so I gotta get you. I glad you mentioned your granddaughter.
You had wars for
Yes,
luncheon.
I did. Hey, fire, bloody fire.
I see that. I see that you were loaded with fire.
No, but no, understand. if you look at it, and I'm glad you mentioned your granddaughter, you'd look and say, boy, they think differently. When we was younger, we used to, because my grandmother used to say, boy, these children, we used to be outside doing this, or we used to be doing this at a certain time, and they just want to be in these phones or certain things. It's a different mindset.
All right. They tell me I must cut you off because we're on time. Because you just wind up getting ready to go, right? You got an ever-ready battery in you. You just keep going.
I don't know where it come from. Thank God for all health and strength.
Where you all get her from?
Right from
They love me.
They love you?
She gonna be,
These are my fellas.
she gonna be a prime minister one day.
Listen, no, I just am very passionate about. I was on this show before with you with the Youth Empowerment Program, if you remember.
You were
and you
with
did
me?
love me so much. And now you come.
because you were in the
Yeah, because I'm wearing the wrong color shirt. I am black and white when I was here the first time.
Yeah, that's why.
He treated me like an angel.
You were on the program before with me?
Yes, with the youth, I do a lot of volunteerism work. I'm an assistant district manager with the Youth Empowerment Program.
When you were talking like that.
Yeah, that's
See?
why.
And that
You're
was
talking-
before you was talking like how you was talking too.
You were talking just like that, right? All right.
But I was equally as excited.
Next time you come back, you can be.
Have some water for me. Thanks for having
I
me.
didn't even talk to Mon Petit, but all the things I was talking to him about.
That's because you
And
was
Mr.
getting
Ferguson.
Because of
sidetracked.
Gabby.
No, that's you. You control the show. This is your show.
You just like.
This is your show. You tell me
No,
this is
but
your show.
let me give all of y'all some
Then
advice.
be in town, woman, catch a
All
fire.
right. Let me give all of y'all some advice, right? One of the most important things you all can do, is to know your country.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, I gotta go. We way over time, all right? Don't say another word. Thank you for being here, Gabrielle.
Thank you for having me.
I say don't say nothing.
Sorry.
And Mr. Petit.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Ferguson.
Thank
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you.